Hey everyone, this is Pete, and welcome back to Atari A to Z Flashback, a series of explorations of the 150 games that make up Atari Flashback Classics for Nintendo Switch. Today's game is Off the Wall, which was a 1989 release from Atari for 2600, developed by Atari founder Nolan Bushnell's development studio Axlon. So at this point, Nolan Bushnell had actually left Atari, and he'd set up his own studio to make more games with. This was one of the last games released by Atari for the 2600, and oddly enough, for a Breakout-inspired game, it only uses joystick controls instead of the paddle controls that are more commonly seen for 2600 games of this type. But it did incorporate power-ups, perhaps inspired by Taito's Arkanoid from 1986, so it is doing a little bit more with the formula than normal. There's not actually a ton of information about this game's development and release online or preserved anywhere, so I guess it's just something we're going to have to go and look at for ourselves. So let's go play Off the Wall.
Okay, here we are once again with Atari Flashback Classics. Today taking a look at Off the Wall, one of the very late Atari 2600 games. You can tell by those red labels, those are the quite late ones from the 2600's second wind, I guess you call it, from sort of 1986 onwards. They decided to try and resurrect their old cash cow. Alright, Off the Wall. Here is the manual with some loosely Japanese inspired art. Alright, here we are. Blazing brickbats and blackbirds. Far away in the mysterious east on the other side of the world, there lived an adventurous lad named Kung Fu Lu. Lu's grand longing was to crush the ancient evil wall that plagued his friendly neighbours. Guarding the wall was a mystical dragon and a cunning blackbird. The dragon would cast balls at brave Lu. If Lu successfully deflected them with his staff, he gained good fortune and special powers. If he missed a ball, it cost him one of the 5 lives he was granted as a child. The frightful blackbird tried to prevent Kung Fu Lu from destroying the wall, but Lu remained undaunted and continued on until he smashed the last remaining brick. Right. So, there are several different skill levels in this. It's basically a Breakout style game, but you have a few power-ups along the way as well, which we can see over on the right hand side here. The special power tokens. After you hit the ball the first time, different tokens begin dropping at random. So there's the zigzag, which makes the ball travel in a zigzag pattern after being hit, but it travels on a normal trajectory on the way down. There's the mystery token. 3 help Lu while 1 is a disadvantage. So yeah, it can give you points, stop the blackbird, give you an additional life, or speed up the ball. There's a magnetic paddle, the nuke ball, which makes the ball break out a much larger chunk of bricks, and the mega paddle, which gives you a much larger staff. So controls, I think you just... yeah, you don't need to press the fire button or anything, you just basically stand in the way of the ball, just like you do in Breakout, and it's like, alright, so let's give it a go. Off the Wall, Peasant, 1 player, so the different difficulty levels are, I think, Peasant, Student, Master. Okay, let's start with Peasant for now. Game reset, and off we go. And here we go, there is Kung Fu Lu down at the bottom, waiting to hit things with his staff. Oh, missed already. Got 7 points though. Yeah, this is quite a common criticism I see of this game, is that there's an inexplicably large gap between lives. So you see, you stand around doing nothing for a good few seconds. You can't speed that up by pressing the fire button or anything. It just happens. Alright, so that grumbling noise we got there, that is the magnetic pedal that we're using. Which means that you can see that the ball follows Lu as we move left and right. You can still miss it, as we did a moment ago, and indeed there. But yeah, it does help you out. There's a question mark one. Oh, it sped the thing up. We got the nuke ball though. That takes out much bigger chunks of wall when you hit it. And presumably scores you some more points as well. So I believe our aim in this game is not necessarily to take... Oh, bollocks. I believe the aim in this game is not necessarily to take down the whole wall, but you have to try and kill the dragon at the top. Which is that strange worm-like thing that's wriggling its way across the top. Oh! This is oddly tricky because you're not controlling a traditional paddle. It's a little bit more difficult to judge where you need to be in order to actually hit the ball. Let's try that again. We'll stick on peasant difficulty for now, just while we're getting used to things. Nuke ball again. Oh, that's nice. That's real nice. Yeah, at heart, this may be little more than Breakout, but it's presented really nicely. That's some lovely use of colour going on there. It's got some nice crunchy sound effects. I'm a big fan of that sort of crumbling sound effect when you hit the wall. It's got nice sort of arcadey style touches, like the way your score counts up. A bit like an old pinball machine. I think I mentioned before, that's one of my sort of favourite weird things for developers to do with a game. Is sort of make it so that your score doesn't just count up, or doesn't just increase by the amount of points that you got. It actually counts up to those as well. I find that much more satisfying for some reason. Give me magnet balls. Well, maybe it's not about hitting the dragon, because we... Oh no, there we go. Bonus points, but I still lost a life. Well, that's the zigzag ball. Hard to see how that's super useful, but... Oops. Yeah, maybe you do have to take down the whole wall. I'm not sure. You do get a nice big bonus for taking down that dragon, though. Yeah, that's the key to big points, I guess. While you're trying to clear out the last of the wall. Try and hit the dragon as many times as you can. What does that one do? Oh, I guess that's the stop the blackbird one. What happened there? Oh. I won, I guess? Not entirely sure how. Oops. Maybe you have to hit the dragon several times. I could check the manual, couldn't I? That would probably be the sensible thing to do. Oh, bloody blackbird. Okay, let's check the manual, just see exactly what it is we are supposed to be doing. You know, oh, no, wait. Let me out of here. Let me just check this again. Next player, if you break out all the bricks, well, there we go. If you break out all the bricks or hit the dragon 6 times, the wave finishes and you get another life. Every time you hit the dragon, the background behind the bricks becomes lighter. Okay, so you can win by hitting the dragon several times. Alright, let's try one more on peasant mode, and then we'll try one of the higher difficulties. And see what difference that makes. Oh, no. Excuse me. Yeah, the trouble with that zigzag power-up is it does just make its return path just a little bit more unpredictable. Oh, now that's fun. Yes, we like that. Worth it. Come on. Yeah, this is an enjoyable little block breaker, actually. I've not really tried this one before. This is one that I've always sort of seen, and I think I used to get this one mixed up with something else. I think I used to get this one mixed up with, I think it's called No Escape, which is the sort of Jason and the Argonauts inspired one. But no, this is just a pretty solid block breaker from the look of things. It's fun. It's simple. But really, that's what you want from the 2600 games, because when 2600 games trying to get too complicated, the difficulty they have in presenting complex information on the screen due to the limitations of the hardware mean that sort of more complex games tend not to work too well, whereas simple arcadey stuff like this works brilliantly. Nice. Oh no! Yeah, I like that magnet power-up. These are interesting power-ups, actually, because they're not just like a... Oh, God. They're not just like a straight clone of the power-ups from Arkanoid or anything like that. They are their own distinct thing that you have to know how to handle. Because they affect the way the game plays quite significantly. Alright, what's next? Student level. Let's see what happens here. Okay, so here we start with the blackbird on the screen. So I assume this is basically starting us at level 2. Whoops. Not a good start. Come on. That's my favourite bit in any breakout game, is when you manage to sort of get it up above the wall like that, and you just cause a string of immensely satisfying chain reactions. Yeah, like I said, my only difficulty with this is sort of judging where you need to be with that sprite. It just feels a little bit tricky at times to get in the perfect position, but that's something you learn over time, I guess. Nope. I believe you can play this 2-player. I don't have anyone to try that out with to hand at the moment. But from what I see, some people complain that doesn't have a particularly fair scoring system in place. I think you like share the same wall or something like that, so it's quite easy for one player to dominate proceedings. Oh wow, look at that. Look at it go. Oh, and I missed it. That's the trouble with joystick controls rather than paddle controls, I guess, because it means that you can't... When you're ready, score. That's the trouble with joystick controls instead of paddle controls, because it means you can't respond as quickly as you might need to for situations like we just had there. Next. Whoa! Whew. Yeah, see there, I just couldn't get to that quite quickly enough, and with paddle controls that wouldn't have been a problem, because paddle controls you can move more quickly if you need to, but with a joystick control you move at a constant speed, so I guess that's one issue with this game. But aside from that, this is really fun. Yeah, I'm liking this quite a bit. Let's just try master level and see what this is, or indeed if it's just start at level 3, which I suspect it might be. Yeah, that zigzag thing really isn't helpful when dealing with that blackbird, is it? I think we'll maybe try and avoid that one from now on. Don't know what that one does. Oh no! It's not actually any harder, I'm just doing terribly. Master, he says. I'll play on master difficulty because I'm a master off the wall. I'm the best at this game. No, I picked up the zigzag thing. Dumb. I'll try that one more time. Just one more time. Come on. Master, bring it on. Yeah, getting around that blackbird is tricky. Not sure if it's moving a bit more quickly on these higher difficulty levels, or if it's just me not planning things out properly. And putting myself in a situation where the blackbird can get in the way. The other thing that's a bit tricky with using that sprite instead of a paddle is that sort of angling your shots feels a bit more difficult. And yes, you got the power-ups that will help with that a bit, like the magnetic ball and so on. Whoops. But it's a little bit less intuitive to land something on the left-hand side of a little person rather than a paddle, which is a bit more intuitive for a lot of people, including myself. Oops. That deliberately moved away from me there. I'm not imagining that, am I? That the ball ran away from me there. I think it was more that just my magnet ran out of that time and it sort of defaulted back to the previous spin that it had. Okay, yeah, I kind of like that. Like I said, that's not one that I've played at all, really, before this. But yeah, it's enjoyable. It's, like I say, it's got a few flaws along the way. Most notably, not being able to respond quickly enough to certain situations in the game thanks to the lack of paddle controls, but that's something you can sort of train yourself for, I guess. You can try and ensure that you're not put in those situations in the first place. And we've also got some interesting little things that show this is a later era Atari 2600 game, like we got this demo mode running here. Early 2600 games do not have demo modes. Something that came much later. But then you have to remember this was a 1989 release on the Atari 2600, a very late game for the system. But a fun one. Yeah, enjoyed that. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Oh, yeah.